3, 2, 1, execute. Hello everyone, the road to Mission Impossible Fallout continues with my review of the 2006 film Mission Impossible 3. This time we have J.J. Abrams directing, and his first feature film as a matter of fact. Tom Cruise returns as Ethan Hunt, again now with short hair. Then we have Michelle Monaghan, Ving Rhames, Maggie Q, Jonathan Rhys Meyers, Lawrence Fishburne, Billy Crudup, and Kerry Russell as Lindsay Ferris, along with Philip Seymour Hoffman as the villain, Owen Davian. And yeah, this was a while after MI2. For a while, I thought Mission Impossible 2 was going to be the final film. No, this came out in 2006, and Mission Impossible 3 was in some production hell. In development hell, really. It took a couple of drafts before they ended up finding J.J. Abrams as a director. It had David Fincher involved, as well as a few other filmmakers. Kenneth Branagh was almost the villain. And they were going to incorporate the character of Naya from MI2 as a love interest, and then at one point a member of the IMF team. It turns out they dropped her character completely, and we're introduced to Julia, played by Michelle Monaghan. She does a fantastic job here, and J.J. Abrams definitely gives his alias flair to this. It starts in the middle of an action, and then we get to see how Ethan Hunt got to that journey, much like Sidney Bristow in Alias. Tom Cruise is a fan of that show, and he's like, I want that guy to direct the next Mission Impossible. And this is a return to form. He's more like the Ethan Hunt from the first film. It's kind of like an amalgam of MI1 and MI2 as something completely different. But what I love about this is that Ethan Hunt is pretty much retired. He's a training officer. He's no longer in the field. And he has this fiancée named Julia. She doesn't know about his past in the IMF. A former friend of his, Billy Crudup, hires him for help. There is a woman named Lindsay Ferris, played by Kerry Russell, in which Ethan Hunt trained. She's been captured by this terrorist named Owen Davian. He's after this weapon called the Rabbit's Foot. On one surprise mission, he meets Luther Stickle again, and they try to rescue Lindsay Ferris. There's a microchip planted inside her head that explodes, and she immediately dies. Now Ethan Hunt is on a personal vendetta. He makes it his personal mission to go after Owen Davian. And that's where a lot of the fun really begins. Philip Seymour Hoffman plays one of the most menacing and intimidating villains of all the Mission Impossible films. To this day, I still think he is the best villain out of all the films so far. That part on the plane was really crazy. That confrontation of Owen Davian and Ethan Hunt on the plane where he says, like, killing your friend was fun for me, was so intense. The acting was top-notch on that scene. And yeah, that's pretty much what it is. He tries to go after this terrorist. He somehow gets out of custody. You find out there's a mole in the IMF, and they kidnap Julia. So Ethan Hunt must protect his newlywed wife in this. It is such an amazing personal mission of Mission Impossible, and I love it. The stakes in this film are very, very high. There's that wonderful scene in Shanghai, and we also have that bridge explosion scene. Such a wonderful scene with a drone. That one famous shot where he's just like running and then boom, you know? I love that. Lawrence Fishburne is great as Director Brassel. And yeah, it's nice seeing the crew back again. And it's nice dealing with an older Ethan Hunt. He's been out of the IMF element for a while. And they finally were able to personalize the character. They try to do it with number 2 with a love story. But I like Julia. I like what they did. They grounded him in the real world for a bit before going back to the IMF. In addition, we have more nods to the television show. Along with the music, we also have the use of a team dynamic, which we really didn't get to see except for the beginning of the first film. It's more like the TV show in that regard. It's moving from like a one-man Ethan Hunt to having an IMF team, and that's one thing I like. A lot of the precursors of what you like about Ghost Protocol and Rogue Nation started with this film, and I think J.J. Abrams should be thanked because without this film, I feel like Ghost Protocol, Rogue Nation, and maybe even Fallout would not have been possible. I love the part at the Vatican. That was a great sequence. The use of masks. And I like it. It's a mixture of like the tactile Ethan Hunt to like the action Ethan Hunt. And again, he gets affected too with the microchip in his head. Who could forget that opening where he's just like, where's the rabbit's foot? And he's just like, I can talk, we can talk, I get you what you want. And he's like counting down, and it's so intense, and he's just like, I swear to God, I'm gonna kill you. Such an intense opening with Julia. Oh my God. J.J. Abrams hooks you in the opening sequence all the way to the very end. And again, a lot of that is like the Alias structure of starting in the middle of something and seeing how the character gets there. The cinematography is very well done. Michael Giacchino's score is fantastic. It has a bit more of percussion with the MI theme. And yeah, there's a lot of twists and turns like any Mission Impossible film. And to me, this is more in line with the first film. If you love the first film, and maybe we're disappointed by the second one. A lot of people like it as an action movie. It was great as an action movie. But if you want something closer to the Mission Impossible spirit, 3 definitely kind of course corrects the franchise into that Mission Impossible direction. And yeah, this is a score I give Mission Impossible 3. It's a fantastic, fantastic film. I love it. Philip Seymour Hoffman and Tom Cruise are fantastic. Michelle Monaghan, again. Billy Crudup. And it's nice seeing the crew there. The different locations, the uses of the theme. And yeah, it's just a blast from beginning to end and a very, very solid sequel, among one of the best Mission Impossible films. I like the dynamic between Ethan Hunt and Luther. There's definitely some harsh feelings. And also, we have the addition of Benji, played by Simon Pegg. He has more of a desk job in this, but the only thing is I kind of have the J.J. Abrams mystery box syndrome of what is the rabbit's foot. But then again, it's like a MacGuffin. You don't really need to know. It's just something to propel the story forward. I love all the stunts in this. That chase sequence, again, is amazing. And yeah, it definitely is one of the better films. So again, let me know your thoughts on MI3 if you've seen it. If you haven't seen Mission Impossible 3 or any of the films, do yourself a favor and check it out. This is definitely one of the better ones. A very solid action film. And for a first feature film for J.J. Abrams, it's fantastic. It's among one of my favorite films of his besides the 2009 Star Trek. Again, you get to see a lot of the stuff he used in Alias on television, but you get to see a lot of stuff that hints his future in motion picture. So yeah, definitely check it out if you're an Abrams fan. And yeah, Tom Cruise is a man. He really continues Ethan Hunt here and kind of starts a trend of the short hair on the odd number Mission Impossibles and the long hair on the even ones until Fallout. Definitely check it out. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on the Stardust app, and here are some more Mission Impossible videos you can enjoy on my channel. Tune in tomorrow in which I'll be briefly going over Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol.